Welcome to Monday. It's June 26, 2023, your Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Cowboy State Daily. Check them out at cowboystatedaily.com. Well, there was a lot of weather that went on late last week, especially on Friday with the tornado activity that did a lot of damage, caused some injuries. In fact, there's actually too much severe weather to encapsulate very quickly with what happened Friday from the strong tornado in southern Campbell County near the Converse County line. Also, the tornado activity that went through Platte and Goshen County, then Scotts Bluff with tornadoes and huge hail. Boy, what a week last week was with severe weather. And we'll show you lots of photos that folks sent in of amazing cloud photos like this one of the Mattis clouds near Carpenter, Wyoming, Friday evening. But what we're going to see here for the week ahead is best is described as what you'd expect in late June. It's going to be more consistently warm, but still not really hot yet. And we're going to continue with late day shower and thunderstorm activity. And again, like last week, most of the activity will be along the Continental Divide and areas east, except areas in the northwest United States, and we'll show you that there in a moment. We still could have a risk of severe weather this week. Will we have as much severe weather this week as last week? I don't think so. But we still are going to have the right combination of things for some severe thunderstorms in some areas over the next 5 days or so. We still don't see anything really hot yet, but by the 4th of July week, I do see some heat getting into the Rockies, maybe the far western areas of the United States, as we'll see a shift westward of the big high down in Texas and Mexico that may send a little bit of heat this way, but it's going to be a bit before that happens. Now, stepping you through some photos, the word supercell was tossed around a lot last week, and at a later podcast, we'll talk more about exactly what a supercell thunderstorm is. But supercell thunderstorms are known for producing a lot of hail, and they're also the type of thunderstorms that tend to produce these bigger, more organized tornadoes, like what we saw in northeastern Wyoming and eastern Wyoming on Friday and western Nebraska. You just get these supercell thunderstorms that tend to be isolated, but they're very large, very organized, and you can see them from very far away. This shot from the Casper Mountain Lookout, the thunderstorm activity that went up into Campbell County Friday afternoon and evening, causing all the problems there. And this is what the wall cloud looked like just as the major thunderstorm, one of the many thunderstorms that walloped western Nebraska and the Scottsbluff-Gehring area Friday evening, as well as Goshen and Platte counties, producing multiple tornadoes and, yep, hailstones. The hailstones and the hail damage in the Scottsbluff area extensive, and this is why 3.5 inch softball sized hailstones coming into the area, and just not one hailstorm, but there were multiple ones that rolled on through. And even Riverton got into the act with some large hail in the Riverton area Friday afternoon from those thunderstorms there. Then just beautiful Mattis cloud photos coming on in, a testament to how large and extensive these supercell thunderstorms were. And you just had some spectacular views of the clouds. Then you had something that looked a little more gentle, although not underneath that thunderstorm, certainly. But now what we're going to head into this week is a pattern to where we kind of left late last week, where drier air was punching in from the desert states. You can see it here in the water vapor image. The drier air across, along and south of I-70, but still plenty of moisture still back here. In fact, overnight, some shower and thunderstorm activity over parts of northern Wyoming, central Wyoming, parts of Montana, back into Idaho and eastern Oregon, as there is yet another area of low pressure coming in. If you remember last week, we had a low back here. Well, look, another one has come in and replaced it. The low that we had late last week went into the Midwest and caused a lot of severe weather in the Midwest over the weekend. Now we're just kind of reloading. High pressure will continue down here in Mexico, Texas, and New Mexico, where the heat wave will continue down there for a little bit longer. But we're in a similar situation to where this low here is going to help draw surface winds from an easterly direction, piling in the higher dew point air. And you can see that here in the higher humidity air coming back into the high plains. So with that low being there and being there all week, well, the stage is set for afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms. So here's where the thunderstorm activity is going to be today. You can see it stretching back into the Pacific Northwest and making this arch through Montana, northern Wyoming, then along the Front Range. This is very similar to what we had last week because the pattern is very similar. Much drier conditions will remain here for a little bit longer, although we're seeing signs now of the beginnings, the very early beginnings of the monsoon pattern down here in Mexico. So this will be today, and this is where the severe weather risk is going to be. So we could have some severe weather early this morning and again this afternoon in these areas up here, and then later today along the Front Range and points east. This is where we're going to be tomorrow. Again, a very similar pattern, and there's risk for some strong thunderstorms, especially in the darker shaded areas there tomorrow. And then this is where we're going to be for Wednesday. Again, it's just like last week. The pattern repeats. Afternoon and evening thunderstorms in the same areas and dry in the same areas as well. And there's your strong to severe thunderstorm risk where it's going to be on Wednesday. And as we go into Thursday and Friday, things aren't going to really change much. This is the precipitation forecast through Wednesday afternoon. You can see favoring the northern areas, less in the way in that drier air that you saw in the satellite imagery down here. So really along and north of Interstate 80 and along and either side of Interstate 90 and back westward here is where the majority of the showers and thunderstorms are going to be. But you'll see some showers and storms in the Sierra and all the way back into eastern Washington and Oregon as well. As we get into Friday, we still have the low. Now it's getting stretched out and moving through, but it's still there. So we're going to go through the second half of the week, Thursday, Friday, with afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms again. The high pressure ridge and the heat wave will continue down here in the southern plains, but you're going to notice something changing a little bit further out, and we'll show you that here in a minute, that will bring some of the heat back westward. So this is the second half of the week. So for the second half of the week, this is basically for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You can see that here we go again. Active afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms come back east of the divide, get a little bit further south again, and we're going to have that risk that the second half of the week could have some strong thunderstorm activity as well. Now, temperatures throughout the next 5 days, today through Friday, relative to the 30-year averages, the heat, the most extensive heat relative to average will continue to be in the south, but you can see with this trough of low pressure nearby, we're going to have warm temperatures, but we're still not looking at anything really hot yet. Although in southern Colorado and areas in Kansas, the heat does expand a little bit more to the north. Notice it starts to warm up a little bit here around the Seattle area. But what we're going to see by next week is a migration of some of this heat a little bit more to the west, with this high pressure ridge by next Sunday into Monday. So by a week from today, basically. Notice the high and northwest winds aloft now in Texas. The high has shifted west and winds aloft are coming in from the northwest. So by the 4th of July week, there may be relief from the heat right here, but a bubble of heat kind of retrogrades westward more towards the west. That will bring some very warm temperatures by next week into portions of the Great Basin, the Rockies, and into California. So a little bit of a shifting around of the pattern in about a week from now. Have yourself a good Monday. We'll see you tomorrow.